Hey there and welcome to another edition of Battlefield 101. On this episode I want to focus on terrain management and expand on the point we made at the end of episode 2 where, if you recall, I took a Virgin assault rifle, something I had no equipment for, into the tight confines of Operation Locker and used those narrow corridors to negate the advantages that the opposition would have had on me, where they would have had a clearer line of sight with a scope. They would have had some form of stability control, or at least access to it, with their various assault rifles and carbines, etc. Where I didn't have those things unlocked, and I used the Ace 23 in order to get some kills, so I could get some unlocks for that gun by using the terrain to my advantage. Now I want to expand on that point and show you ways in order to make the terrain work for you, where you can have the advantage on the opposition by using the natural environment that you find yourself in order to rack up kills and make it easier for you to kill opposition and not so easy for them to kill you. Now, to put this video together, I've gone back to Battlefield 3 and the No Shot Canals Team Deathmatch map in particular, because this is a map I've spent many hundreds of hours playing. In fact, I've probably spent more hours playing on this map alone in this environment than I have my entire time so far on Battlefield 4. So I'll put my hand up and say I don't know the Battlefield 4 maps as well as I know this one. But what I want to do is show you examples of using cover, because they'll be there in Battlefield 4, and it's just a case of finding them, and together we can find them and we can note down where they are and show each other where they are. And I will give you examples of what the kind of cover you should be looking for, where you'll be vulnerable from, but what it's like for you to be able to see the opposition and give yourself the huge advantage in getting the kill, where they have very little chance of killing you. And to do that, I've got the help of a friend of mine who's helped me put this video together. So we'll get into the examples and I'll show you exactly what I mean and how to use the terrain to your advantage. So here we are at the back of the map of No Shot Canals, and you can see that I've got a nice block to hide behind there. I would normally throw down a med pack as well to keep me healed if I was being shot at. Now there we go. Here's my friend simulating combat in the crates, and I've got a clear line of sight on him. I could have shot him at any time and he would have been dead. Now if we switch positions, this is what it's like for me to see him. As you can see, as I look towards that block, there's very little visual reference for me to actually get a kill on him. Now this is a forklift truck, again towards the back of the map, looking into the crates. You can see I've got a player running through the crates looking for kills, looking for opposition players. I've got a clear line of sight on him. I could have fired off a few rounds, almost certainly gotten the kill. And this is what it looks like in reverse if I simulate playing the opponent. I've got no visual frame of reference, but as you can see, he had a clear line of sight and he would have bagged the kill quite easily. And this is another forklift truck further to the north on this map. Again, clear line of sight, catching that player coming out of his spawn. And as we switch positions, I'm going to simulate looking for opposition players coming out of the spawn, looking for opponent players to kill. Rounding this corner, you can see what it's like in reverse. There's no visual reference all on that opposition player. He could have got a kill on it any time he wanted. Now here I'll illustrate a really good way of exploiting the terrain. As we look next to those blocks, there's a little yellow barrier, and if I jump at it long enough, eventually I will be able to get on top of that barrier, standing on it on the tiptoes, and be able to see over the block. Now as you can see, I'm looking into an enemy spawn point on this particular map, and I've got a clear line of sight on a player coming out of it. As you can see, I've got what should be a pretty easy kill. And now this is what it looks like in reverse as we switch positions. I'm running out of that spawn point looking for opposition players, and there directly to the north of me is that block. I can see nothing over it. Even though he's got me lined up, he's got an easy kill, I can't see him whatsoever. There's no way I'm going to know he's there until he's actually opened fire on me. So just because you happen to have found yourself a good point in order to use the terrain to your advantage, don't think that you're invulnerable or things won't change. In TDM in particular, the spawns shift and move around, and where you're hitting the enemy spawn here doesn't mean that in a minute's time that will be where they spawn again. It will shift and move around. You'll be vulnerable from the left, from the right, and in behind. That's where you've got no cover from. So be aware of this. Human nature also is to hunt down the person that's racking up a ton of kills, so if you're still in the same point when they come looking for you, you're going to be in trouble. Now here's a little known glitch that exists in Battlefield. If I put myself towards this crate, you'll see the barrel of the gun, the muzzle, is actually pointing in the crate, but when I fire off a few rounds, they actually come out of the scope. And what that means is I can fire over this crate, even though the barrel is actually pointing into it, and hit opposition players. And if we reverse positions, you'll see there I take a round from my opponent, and not only can I not see him, but I'm also getting hit by a little visual glitch that exists within the game. Now the only way I can get to that opposition player is by running around to the left and trying to initiate a counter flank. So be aware of your surroundings, look for these positions when you play Battlefield 4, let's see if we can find them and exploit them together, and I will see you on the next edition of Battlefield 101.